We went through the full diagnostic check on your system. Josh and I were out there for about 2 hours. We looked at your transformer, your wiring, your fixtures. Landscape lighting systems overall are simple. You have 3 or 4 main components, but we went up and pulled up each connection. We wanted to test to see how they put the connections together. We looked at the depth of wiring. We opened up each fixture. We tested the voltage at each one. We found a number of things, like as much as I want to use as much equipment as possible, because it's always nice, you see somebody pull up the old carpeting and there's hardwood floor underneath. This is what you always want to find. 90% of the time when we come out to most systems, most of the companies out there don't put it up to like a high level, which works for a time, but over time it starts, the issues start popping in. So we actually had, the transformer had an overall good rating.
Great.
So that was nice. The wiring overall was good. There was a couple spots where it wasn't buried as well. The fixtures are all older. A number of them had let moisture in, they had deteriorated, they didn't have electricity to it. We had 2 of them that we actually caught on fire when we were out there.
Oh my gosh.
So now I understand why you guys had it unplugged, because once we plugged it in, we saw them smoking and doing everything. And that was just as the wire got pushed down over the years, it created a little nick. So where we had a great mark on your transformer to be used, the problem was the circuit never tripped. And so what should happen is, just like your house, if you create a short in your house, it trips your circuit breaker. On the secondary side, it should do the same thing. So it should have tripped the breaker right away. So there's a number of things we can do. We can, recommend replacing the transformer, try and use the existing wiring, and replace the fixtures if we want to keep like the exact design you have. The design that I showed you earlier, which was right here. This one is just putting lights where you had lights before, and I think we could, use some of the existing wiring there. If we start building out the lighting on your house, then I think we would upgrade the transformer and upgrade the wiring. And if we're going to run 2 new wires out, we might as well just run 5 new wires out, because what happens is if we put in a system that we're using the existing wiring, which we've done a lot, you don't know if there's a nick in the wire 5 feet away from where we're fixing something. So you could have we can't put as the same type of warranty on something that we don't know, was put in 15 years ago. So how it was installed and everything. So in this particular case, I would recommend, if you're going to enhance the design, is we just start with a new transformer, new wire, new controls and everything. So I wrote up an estimate for that, but then I have a second estimate that's just getting the lights going again where you have it, where we're not just putting new lamps. We're going to be able to use some of the existing wiring, put a new transformer and put new fixtures in. So these are the 2 estimates I have here. This is the full upgrade for the front of the house.
Okay.
Option B is taking the path lights out.
Okay.
So you could add the path lights or not. And then option C is just having the landscaping. So similar to what you had. And then the final option is option D, listed right here. This is really just putting a new transformer in, using some of your wiring, and then just putting lights where you had them before. We might move them around a little bit because they don't make sense. Like they're just off a little bit because the landscaping's grown so much. But you can choose between any one of these options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to email all this information, my diagnostic report, over to you and the proposal. And you can just pick and choose what's best for you. So if it looks good to do the whole thing, we could do that, if just a section.
I know your lights themselves are superior quality. Is there any difference in the current transformer we have and the transformer?
Yeah, the transformer we have, you have a 900 watt big transformer, so it's much smaller. It's not needed at this point. Like you could run like 80 lights off of it, but your biggest problem with it, if the circuits were all working well, or if they had replaceable circuits, I would say just keep that transformer. Since it doesn't, if you would have just left that transformer plugged in and it started smoking like that, eventually you get a mulch fire and it's not shutting off, which doesn't make any sense. Like transformers are very simple, but they should shut off. I mean, that's just a basic flaw in the system. It's supposed to shut off when that happens. For a safety standpoint, a transformer is not a huge investment. It used to be the most expensive thing that you bought in the whole system was a transformer. Now the fixtures are more expensive, but the transformers don't need as much power, so they're smaller. So typically a transformer is going to be in that $400 to $500 some. Peace of mind, I'd say do it. Yeah. Do it one time, and then you have a lifetime warranty on it. So if we ever had a transformer that happened, we would just replace that transformer, replace the circuit, and put a new one in. If we run the new wiring, then we're going to go to the proper depth, and we're going to put on all permanent connections. So your system that we designed, that we put in, 20 years, it should be working perfect. Your system, we estimated, was about 12 to 15 years old, but for the last 7 years, it hasn't been working. So that's one reason it's lasted a little bit longer, is it hasn't had the wear and tear because it just hasn't turned on for a long time. But yeah, that would be the main advantage. Overall, the light quality it will have will look different. Like you can notice one of our systems versus somebody else's. Yeah.
So there's the lights, there's the wiring, and there's the transformer. Those are the main components. And they didn't get the wiring deep enough, it seems like?
There's sections that they actually did. The problem, we can use that existing wiring if we don't add anything.
Okay.
Even though it's halogen to LED, when we got to the end of the line, we were in that 10 volt range, which all this is techie, but that's without any lights being put on it. The minute we start putting lights on it, we're going to start dropping down into that 9 volt range, and that's where you start putting more stress on the LEDs. They like to run a little bit more voltage to it. And if we're going to be adding lights, we can get away with adding some, but if we're going to do the whole system, you're probably running 2 new wires out to make sure that you're running all the wires at full capacity, puts less stress on the system. And that's why I say if we're doing that, adding the 3 extra, 3 more lights it's a couple $100, so it's not a huge investment on that. The big investment is if we're going to not have to run 2 new lines around the entire house and use existing wiring, then we could save some money, but we're just limited on how much we could add on to it.
How much does it dig up the yard to run all the?
Oh, we do it all by hand. So we're able to slice the ground, get that 6 to 9 inches deep, put it back, and by the time you're done at the end of the day, you usually can't even tell where we dug. If it's like August and we haven't had rain for a while, it's going to leave a mark, but we're not doing typical trenching. It's very surgical on the installation.
Excellent.
Yep.
Sounds great. Thanks for all your hard work on it.
So I'll go ahead and email this over to you. You have my card. Give me a call, text me, whatever. Send me an email. Karen's very responsive. We're typically 2 to 3 weeks out for installations, so we could move pretty quickly. We'll call Miss Utility. We'll take care of everything for you.
Great.
I'll come out on the beginning of the installation. But my head guys, you already met Josh earlier. He's been with me 24 years. My other technicians have been with me 5 to 12 years, so they've been with me a long time. They do great work, and one of the things I always say is check out the company you're going to work with. So we have 370 5-star reviews. So we try and provide a great experience for you. So this is a fun project. All the house projects you're doing, some are fun, some aren't. Like putting in a new roof is never fun and exciting because you get a new one in and it kind of looks the same as the old one. Yeah. This is something that's totally transformational, and so we want the whole process to be enjoyable, and it's also a fairly quick process. So once you give us a go-ahead, we're a couple weeks out, and then in 2 weekends you could be enjoying lighting on your house and have that huge impact. So this was a great appointment today. Whether you're a homeowner or a landscape lighting professional, this is always a tricky time. Whenever somebody has an existing system, 10% of the lighting systems are truly installed at a high level that are designed to last a decade or longer. So often you see so many systems out there, and we can fix them, or we can take time, take the fixtures all apart, put them all, rewire them, resocket them, re-grease them, get everything going. But ultimately, it's going to cost us as much as time and labor, and you're still having an inferior product as some of the better products that have come out. So it takes a lot of time to really diagnose a system. It's important, if you're bidding out a job like this or you're getting a bid on this, that you take your time and you really assess what the system is. On this system, we found a number of things that seemed really good. The transformer seemed of good quality. We did find problems as we dug deeper, even on the transformer. The circuit didn't trip even though the wires were smoking. We found a lot of fixtures that had moisture in it, ants in it, a lot of connections that really weren't up to par. And ultimately, if we wanted to add more lights, we could get away with pushing that a little bit, but due to voltage drop and the distance we had to go around the entire house, the system was underwired to add in the scope of what we want to do for the project. So on this project, our recommendation was to upgrade the transformer, upgrade the timing system, upgrade the wiring, upgrade the connections, and upgrade the luminaires. It's not the news that everybody wants to hear, but that's what often happens with a landscape lighting system when it surpasses that 10 to 15 years of age, and it's not a really high-grade lighting system. If you are investing in a high-grade lighting system, it's not uncommon for those to last 15, 20 plus years. If they're put in the correct way, if the connections are done right, the depth of wire is correct, the controls are the best, you can get that lifetime out of a landscape lighting system when it's of high quality. My final thoughts, every appointment we go on, we're building trust and we're building our reputation. I always want to do what is in the best interest of my customers. I always tell my customers, I'm not going to retire if I get this job, and I'm not going to go out of business if I don't get this job. So I give them the advice that I would want to hear if I were the customer. And I'm ultimately willing to walk away from any project, no matter the situation I'm in, if it's not going to be in the best interest of the client and the best interest of my company. So I want to find projects to work on that we enjoy working on, we have a lot of fun, we could make some money on it, which is important, but also that's going to be in the best interest of the customer, where it's going to last a long time, it's going to deliver. Because if I come in and put in Band-Aid solutions onto a system and I get called back over and over again, everybody's frustrated. So my recommendation is work with integrity, build trust with your customer, and ultimately you're going to build your reputation so that you become the most trusted person in landscape lighting in your market.